Hey guys, how you doing? I wanted to do a recap on a couple of things that I've said in the past. I'm not sure if I ever mentioned the one experience I had when I went to Bermuda um, for a graduation present. So I'm gonna talk about that right now. I was 17 years old, just graduated high school. My mom had a graduation present for me. We were going to Bermuda on a cruise, and everything was going good for a good little while. We drove all the way to New York because the ship was leaving from the harbor in New York. So we got on the ship and we sailed out. Okay, and of course we was on the ship for a couple of days. I don't know how long it took for us to get into the area of Bermuda near the Bermuda Triangle, but I was actually pretty scared as far as what was going to happen if we did um, reach the area of the Bermuda Triangle. But with with the type of technology we have today and the navigation systems that we have, we could have easily sailed around it. That's exactly what we did because I actually saw it on some sort of like map grid they had in one of the lobbies of the ship, and you could actually see the Bermuda Triangle lit up, on the screen, and see where the ship was traveling, and it was traveling around it. But that still didn't mean that stuff was gonna happen. This stuff wasn't gonna happen out there. I was on the deck, sunny, hot, and everything, and I saw a double-winged plane. The kind that has those big stars on it with the round edges. Um, that to be on those old fighter pilot aircrafts. Well, I saw that, and the crazy part about it was I didn't see where it came from. I just knew it flew over our head. And as it flew over our head and went past us, as it was still traveling, all of a sudden the sound just stopped dead in midair. And that was probably the creepiest part of the whole. That was one of the creepiest parts of the whole cruise. Okay, pretty much the only thing as far as paranormal, but all I know is I saw a double wing plane from way back in that era, and it flew over our head and disappeared without a trace. Okay, so that alone right there was creepy enough. Okay, now moving ahead to the part where we get to Bermuda. We docked in Bermuda. We got off the ship and we started walking into the town. And one thing I didn't realize about going to Bermuda was seeing that they still had judges that wore the powdered wigs from way back in like the age of George Washington and all that stuff. But anyway, the craziest part of that whole trip was when my mom was looking for someone to show us around the island. So this guy just I won't say he appeared out of nowhere, but he was just there. So he probably did because I don't remember seeing him as we walked up. All I know is she saw him, and he looked like a regular everyday guy, just as solid as you and me put together. He was wearing all black, black sneakers, black socks, black shorts, black shorts, shirt, sunglasses, and a black baseball cap. Okay. She told him that she was looking for someone to take us around the island, to show us the sights. He said, I'll take you around the island, no problem. I'll drive you around. She was like, for how much? He said, $5. She was like, what? Yeah, I'll take you around for $5. She said, oh, you got yourself a deal. So she gives him the $5, right? Now, in her mind, she's saying, I never should have did that because he could easily take that money and run. And I'm saying, well, wow, your guy gonna run for $5? Okay. So, getting this little four-door sedan, and he was driving us around the island the entire time, showing us the sights. He showed us a place that Michael Jackson owned across the bay. Um, and then when we got to one of the tourist attractions, it was like some kind of cave. We went in, right? My mom was like, "Well, as soon as we come out, he gonna be gone. I'll be done lost that $5, right?" Went in there, we came out. He was standing right there the whole time waiting for us, right? And he stood there waiting for us at every single tourist attraction, no matter what, no matter how long it took. Okay, So this guy was like our hero. You know, we didn't know anybody there, and we was looking for someone to take us around, and he insisted. So, and he did. Here's where it gets weird. After all that, all the tourist attractions we went to, and every time like I said, he was waiting for us every single time. My mom was telling him that, you've been so nice to us, we just got to get a picture of you, right? He said, okay, cool. He's standing next to me, and of course I'm standing next to him, and she takes a picture of me and him together, and vice versa. I take a picture of her and him together. Okay, moving on. We get back home. My mom goes to 24-hour, uh, Photoshop. Every single photo came out, right? And every single negative came out. When we was the first thing we wanted to do was search for that guy, because he was that's so nice to us. That's the first thing she was looking for. We found the photos that we took of us standing next to him, because they were the only ones in that stack of photos. He didn't show up in not one photo. Weird. Yeah, I know. That was the craziest thing. So we came to the conclusion that he was an angel sent down to help us, in our time of need. We was in a strange place, didn't know where we knew where we were, but we didn't know anybody there, and the Lord sent him down there to help us out, and like I said, he didn't show up in not one photo. There was no ball of light in the photo. There was no streak of light, nothing, no blur, anything. It was just gone. And I've always heard that angels don't show up on film when you take pictures of them, unless they want to. Okay, so, and I guess he figured that would blow our minds better, better than any other photo, especially if he didn't show up in any photo and he was standing next to me. I mean, I could have touched the man. He was just as solid as I am. I could have just went like that. And can you imagine if I had my elbow on his shoulder and I'm standing there like this with my arm up in the air? That would have been looking kind of kind of weird, So it was weird. Now I got a friend who told me the same situation. Well, same, but the situation was different. But the premise of the situation was pretty much the same. Dealing with the angel. When she was getting on the plane, she was coming to Georgia, and there was this lady that was on the plane that was by her side at all times, making knowing that she had babies with her and everything. She was trying to make sure they got something to eat. She was making sure they were warm. She was making sure they got a chance to sleep. All kinds of. She was basically just watching out for her and her kids, right? So she sat near them the whole time, making sure, and she just was just very dominant in that area, trying to make sure her babies was okay, and she was too. She gets off the plane and she's trying to find the area where her family was, and the woman just happened to be right there, okay? And she told her, no, don't go that way. You need to go this way. She's telling her what hallway to go down, right? Soon as she made sure that she was headed in the right direction, she turned around and said thank you, and she disappeared. No trace of her. And she actually tried to find out who this woman was. She said, we didn't have nobody of that name in that seat. So she was like, huh? So, another miraculous angel sighting. Now, I know I probably said this before, but I did have another angel sighting. This was something personal because I asked to see my guardian angel one night. It was back when I was living in Virginia at the time. I was 17 or 18, something like that. And excuse me, I've been up all day. I had insomnia for 2 weeks straight. Couldn't close my eyes whatsoever. Even if I did, I'd wake right back up. I literally didn't sleep for 2 weeks straight. Okay, so I told my mom about it, and she told me we read the 23rd Psalm, and that way I'll fall asleep. I read the 23rd Psalm. I fell asleep. But in the midst of all that, I said when I was saying my prayers, I asked the Lord if I could see my guardian angel because I'd never seen him before. Okay, so I go to sleep that night. I was awakened by blinding light in my room. Now, see, this time I had bunk beds, It was always just me, but I still wanted one. But I thought they were cool at that time, you know. So I was awakened by this blinding light in my room. It was like it was shimmering right there in the center of my bedroom, right in front of my bed. And I look up, I get up, and I see this light just there, and this being formed out of this light. He was just hovering right there, and I could see a man with long black curly hair. He had real strong, sharp, square facial features, bright smile, blue eyes. Well, I can't remember what color his eyes was, but I just know he was just shining like a new light bulb. He was just light was just everywhere. He reached out towards me, or reached down. He reached down towards me because he was hovering above me, and I reached up towards him. I grabbed his hands. He smiled at me. I smiled back, and he just disappeared. You see, I could see everything. I could see his robe, his wings, all that. He was just engulfed in this light. His lower body was basically a shimmering light, a shimmering like massive light. That was the most incredible, unforgettable moment of my entire life. So anybody that tells you there's no such thing as angels or all kinds of stuff, don't ever believe what they say, because I always say don't knock it until you try it, and don't judge it until you actually have the experience yourself. So it's like I always say, do not let anyone tell you any different. If you saw it, you saw it. Don't let nobody say you were probably dreaming. You were probably doing, maybe yeah, saying stupid stuff like you probably smoking or drinking or whatever. If you don't do none of those things, and you saw it, you saw it. That's the bottom line. Okay. Don't ever let anyone tell you different. If they don't believe you, so what? You know you saw it. That's what I did. I know I saw my guardian angel because I asked to see him. I mean, he could have been a female for all I know. It don't really matter. But the point is, I saw my guardian angel, and I never forgot that day ever. I often think about it. And I tell people at work about the angel experience I had in Bermuda, and they could not believe it because it wasn't just me saying it. It was my mother too. She told a lot of people as well as just as much as I did. And stuff like that should never be held, deep inside, because you want to share these experiences with other people. Um, so like I said, if you see something, whether it be a UFO, a ghost, your angel, your guardian angel, you already know you saw it. Don't be trying to second guess yourself. Don't be trying to say, oh, something's wrong with my eyes. I must have been hallucinating. Or I was seeing things. I'm probably tired. If you already know you're not tired, if you wide awake, you saw it. You saw it. Bottom line. Okay. So that is my advice to you. So I hope you take that in consideration. Now, as far as any other uh, experiences I've had, I made a video a few minutes ago about this red ball of light I saw in the sky. So you guys already know about it, and I hope you watch that video. It's short, but pretty much it was the angel experience, and it was the experience I had when I was being used as a vessel for a woman named Janice who lived in my complex in Virginia. That was an amazing experience I had because it was so strong and so vivid. I knew she was using me as a vessel just to see a sunset. She's never seen one. She hasn't seen one since she passed away. I don't know how. I don't know how her boyfriend passed away. I don't even know if he might still be alive. I don't know. I didn't even think to go up to the office to ask who Janice was. I just know that she is real. So, I could see a full picture of her in my head, in my mind. So I know she's real. If you've had experiences like this, like I said, treasure them because you have a gift, just like me. Okay, I don't look at it as a curse. I don't look at it as something that just happens. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But I've had a lot of experiences. Like when I was living in my mother's old house. A lot of things happened. Like my grandfather had passed away in, I believe, 2005 or 2006. I think about 2005. Or was it 2003? It's been so many years. I think it was somewhere between 2003 and 2005. I believe it could have been 2003. But anyway, the experience I had with that, we went to New York for his funeral. You know, my hometown. Go Yankees. Ooh, Brooklyn. Yeah. So we went to New York for his funeral and all that, right? And we came back. You know, there was an experience I had with him. I went to work that day, came home, I pulled into the garage, and I got out the car. I was getting ready to open up the door, but before I could even do that, get this, I heard a very loud fart that emanated from the center of my mother's garage. Her car was on the right, mine was on the left near the door. It was so weird, but I knew it was my grandfather because he was a trickster. He loved to, play jokes on people. Loved to prank people and all that stuff. You know, I remember this very vividly when he was alive, when I was still a kid. Okay, so when I heard that, I knew it was him. The crazy part was when I went to the door to unlock the door and open it, the doorknob turned in my hand right before I could even turn it myself. But it turned real quick, and then whoever it was let it go, and the door just went back to its original. The knob went back to its original position. Okay, so at first I'm thinking. Now my mom used to always, when she would be washing clothes downstairs, in the area where the garage door is, she would unlock the door when she hear me come to the garage. That way I ain't gotta bother getting out my key. I can just open up the door and go upstairs. I opened up the door after that, but I waited for a minute because it kind of freaked me out that the doorknob turned in my hand. I didn't hear the washing machine going either, through the door. So I slowly opened it up and realized it was pitch black downstairs. Pitch black. There was nobody down there. She wasn't down there. And there's only one person in that house. Well, there's two people, me and her, but she was the only one in the house. So I closed the door and I was like, okay, that's weird. I go upstairs. I look in her room to see where see if she was watching TV or something like that. She was fast asleep. So I was like, okay, another weird situation, right? So I go in my room, take off my clothes, get in my night clothes, and I go to bed. I had a dream about my grandfather that night. He was standing at the foot of my bed, and he was dressed in this black and white. Well, it was a black jacket with three white stripes going down the side and a hood. He had the hood over his head. I could see his face with the beard and everything and the mustache. He was just standing, just looking at me, right? This is where it gets crazy. You ready? Wait for it. Wait for it. I was awakened by someone tickling me in my ribs, and I'm talking full on fingertips in my ribs, just going there, just tickling me. I'm laughing. I'm just all over the place. I'm just just going on like this. I'm laughing like crazy. I wake up. There's nobody in my room. So I was like, what? And I just knew right away that it was my grandfather, because my grandfather, he's that kind of person. He likes to play jokes on people. He likes to tickle you and all that stuff. So that was his way of making himself known to me, because I guess he was my grandfather. I screamed out my mother's name. I was like, Mom, and she was like, what? Yep. And she gets up, she runs in the room. She's like, Papa was just here. He was just tickling me in my ribs. She was like, what? He was just here. He was tickling me in my ribs. Why do you think I woke up? I was just laughing like crazy because it's just that in depth, right? So she was like, oh, okay. She was probably just still tired or whatever. But she kind of got what I was saying after she woke up. She was like, wow. She couldn't believe it herself. He made himself known to me. He didn't make himself known to her. He probably did. I don't know, but she never told me that. So After that, it was a crazy experience. But I used to have a lot of experiences in my mom's old house because it wasn't blessed at the time. And they say if you bless the house, you won't have these experiences. But there was a lot of experiences. Like there was an experience where I'm sitting in my room watching TV. And okay, let me set up the scene for you. On this side is the window where you can see outside. On this side is, of course, the other side of my room where there's the door that leads out into the hallway. Okay. Now we don't have a dog. We never had one. Well, I had one when I was a little kid, but they gave him up because he was just tearing up the house. I was like what 4 or 5 years old at the time, but we didn't have a dog. When we moved down here to Georgia. Okay. I heard a little puppy dog bark right behind the wall near my door in the hallway. Now, okay, let's think about this for a second. Now, if you tell someone that, you said you probably heard a dog barking outside. First of all, the sound of the dog came from my left. Okay, my window is on my right. Anybody that has ears can tell if a sound is coming from the left side of their body or the right side of their body. Well, so if it was coming from outside, it sounded too close for it to be outside. Okay, if it was outside, it would be a muffled bark. Plus, it would sound like it was coming from outside, especially with that wall and the window in the way. And the window wasn't up; it was like in the middle of winter. Okay, so a couple of months later, same situation, different dog. It was almost like that dog grew within months because I heard a big dog bark in the same area. You know, it was a ghost dog. You know, now another situation I had in the same house. My mom was, at work. She worked the evening shift. And she didn't get home until like, let me see, she left at 12:30. She wouldn't get home around like 12:45. Okay, I'm in my room once again watching TV, and I hear these raps on the walls like this, like that. Okay, nobody's in the house but me, but I'm hearing banging, somebody banging on the walls in the house. I'm the only one in the house. Okay, and I didn't have no surround sound at the time, so the sound wasn't booming to the point where you could hear the booming noises in the walls. I would hear people walking in the attic. There's no floor up there. There's nothing but wood beams and insulation. Okay, we cannot walk up there at all. Okay, so there's no reason for you to hear footsteps in the attic. Now, there was another situation where I was coming home from work again, and before I got in the house, I could actually hear creeping noises walking, like someone slowly walking across the floor upstairs above me, so they wouldn't wake anybody up. Now, at that time, a family member of mine was staying with us, and I went upstairs and I saw everybody was fast asleep. And this family member of mine got up to go to the bathroom, and I asked her. I said, was you walking around earlier, like saying going to the kitchen to get something to drink?" And she said, "No, I'm just not getting up." I'm like, "Really?" So I was like, "Okay, hmm, weird." Now another situation is when me, my mother, and my sibling was standing at the top of the stairs near the door, the front door leading to outside. Okay, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a shadow person come from downstairs up into, that top floor, near the door. And I was like, whoa, and I looked, and I was like, as soon as I saw it, it disappeared. Because I've heard that shadow people don't like to be seen, but if you see it, then it is what it is. But I saw this person walk up the stairs and come into my view, and it was like embodiment of a person, and I saw it. It was just like, wow. And I was looking at it, and it was just weird. That was the first time I ever. Well, actually, it was the second time I saw a shadow person. The first time I saw it was like me and my mom was coming back from somewhere, and we was driving on the road to get to our subdivision, and I literally saw a shadow person run from the left side of the street to the right side of the street. I saw the legs and everything. You can actually see it going like this. You know, it was just that pronounced. And I was like, "Whoa, did you see that?" I was like, "What?" I saw a person running across the street. Yeah, she didn't see it. But let's see what else. Oh, this is really crazy situation. I was in my car. I was getting ready to leave to go somewhere. I was leaving out of the subdivision. And of course, when you're in your car, you gotta look to your left, look to your right, make sure there ain't nobody coming in. You go out into the traffic. I looked to my left, and I looked very hard. Excuse me. I looked to my right. Nobody coming from that direction. Well, okay, this is my right, this is my left. So when I looked, I didn't see nobody coming. The minute I put my foot on the pedal and started to move out into the traffic, or move out onto that main road, this black car, a jet black car, come rushing past my car in front. And somehow, some way, my eyes was able to fixate on the person that was in the car. It was a Caucasian woman with black sunglasses, a black suit with a white blouse, and had jet black hair, straight jet black hair, and it had like this blank look on her face as she was driving. I'm telling you, there was nobody coming from that direction. I was looking. I didn't see nobody in the distance coming up this way. That car just appeared out of nowhere. Okay, and went this way, and when I looked again, it was gone. Okay, and I was like, what just happened here? There was no car there before, but all of a sudden, as soon as I started driving, that's when it shows up. It just appears out of nowhere. Okay, and I literally saw the person in the darn thing, in the car, and like I said, the person just disappeared. And I had another experience just like that, where I was coming down the street that I lived on, and there was this car coming around the corner that just came out of nowhere. It would look like I'm guessing it looked like yeah, probably like an IROC Z28. So it just appeared out of nowhere, just coming around the corner, making that turn to get in front of me, and it was like, and I had to slam on my brakes, and I couldn't see the person in the car. It was like, I think it was like smoked out windows or something. I don't know. It was just too dark in that car for me to see who it was. And it just kept going. Okay. So I think that's what they would call those phantom cars or ghost cars, or ghost driver, basically. I had that experience. Let's see what else. There was the car incident too. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I think that was pretty much it in that area as far as the cars. But I do remember one time I was driving home from work. My homeboy was in the car with me. And I think I was driving him home, and I just happened to look off into the distance, at the very top of the road. Right, there was a silhouette of some like a human figure standing. It was a shadowy figure of a person standing at the very top of the road with the hands to the sides. I could see the head, the shoulders, and the legs. He was just standing there with the arms to the side and their legs together. And as quick as it appeared, it disappeared. I saw it with my own two eyes. It was, crazy experience. You know, um, what else? hmm. Well, okay, there was the one experience I had where I was at home. Went to the bathroom. I was taking a leak, right? All of a sudden, I saw a female arm, and the sleeve was of the Renaissance era, or maybe like the Little House on the Prairie days. I don't know, but it was like a black lace sleeve with lace ruffled sleeves on it, right at the wrist, and I could tell it was a solid female arm with a hand, and the hand was going like this, like okay, it was going like this, and this is this arm that's coming from behind the doorway, going like just going like that, telling me to come here, real slow, and I'm like, no, I wasn't about to do that. At that time, I wasn't the way I am now, but I was like, wow, okay, that was weird. So, yeah, like I said, I had a lot of experiences, mainly on a daily basis. So, um, what else? It was the shadowy figure, the walking, upstairs, my grandfather, the arm. Uh, I think that was pretty much it. But there was a photo that I actually took of my mother's bedroom. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay. Now, I'm gonna show you guys a photo, and I want you to pay close attention to the picture. If you can see it, you probably can't. Probably have to turn it to the side. Okay. What you were seeing? Okay, yeah. What you were seeing right here? This is a bed right here. This little square, like little box thing. Okay, now I'm gonna flip the picture. You probably can't see it, but there's this little bright area right here. Now, if I go back, that bright area isn't there anymore. But if I flick it, it's the same photo. I took this like a second after. What you're seeing, and what you probably can't see, is like a gown or a robe hovering like a couple of feet off the ground. And if you was to see the photo that I'm looking at right now, you can see the ruffled area. You know how a dress or a gown folds, where it has this little foldy, like little round foldy, like ruffles, like like in a curtain, when it bulges in certain areas. That's what that is. I mean, I hate that you can't see it, but if you see that little bright spot, I took that a second after I took the first picture, and it just popped up right there on the screen. So it was something there, and it's a very prominent looking gown. It was like a white glowing gown, and you can actually see, like I said, the ripples in the gown. So that was a pretty weird experience. We were moving out of my mom's house into a new house. Okay, so I was like, wow. But yeah, I had a lot of experiences. Now, like I said, if you've had experiences where they were more like you could see things, but let's just say it wasn't a physical experience where the ghost was either pushing you or whatever the case may be. You hear all these stories about how a ghost will push a person down the stairs, or they'll tug on their hair. There was one story where a person said that his wife was sleeping on the couch. She fell asleep on the couch, and there was something braiding her hair. The hair actually lifted up, and you can actually see it being braided by some unknown like force. So, what I'm saying, if you see something, ghost, spirit, whatever the case may be, it is what you saw. Don't second guess it. Don't say I was probably seeing things. Don't let other people try to tell you that you're crazy, that you've been overworking yourself, you've been hallucinating, all kinds of other bull crap. What you saw is what you saw. That is the only way to know that you're not crazy. If you see it, believe what you saw and just go with it. Okay? Trust me. You'll feel a lot better once you know that what you saw is what you saw. You may be a little frightened at first. I'm not anymore. I've dealt with ghosts all my life. Okay? I've seen them right in front of my face. Okay? Sometimes. And I mean, at first I was a little scared because I didn't understand the whole situation. But the more I read into it, the more I delved into the information dealing with those, I was able to understand it better. Understand that they were once of the living. Okay, they were human just like you and me. You know, they had a life, they had a family, they had whatever. You know, so you can't just say, okay, well, oh, they're scary. You know, if they're doing what they're doing that because they want to make themselves known. They want your attention, and they have gotten my attention way more than once. Way more than what I can account for. You know, I've even had 2 or 3 experiences in my own house, my new house, the one I'm in right now. Okay, there was one where the bathroom over here by the kitchen, there's this little towel rack that I got hanging over the door, and you know it has the little hook that hooks over to the outside of the door, and when you close it, it closes. Now that thing is not supposed to move unless you move it yourself. Okay, it was closed all day. Okay, and all of a sudden I hear the sound of the rack being lifted up and dropped back down so it'll hit up against the door. There was no way for that to even happen because there was nobody in that bathroom. Okay, then there was this little thud I heard upstairs at night. That shouldn't have happened either because there was nobody up there. It sounded like something fell over. But when I looked to see who was up, there was nothing there. Everything was where it was supposed to be. So, you know, sometimes you hear disembodied voices. Sometimes you hear disembodied sounds. You know, you hear a thud of something or a crash of something that never actually happened. You know, but you can't be afraid of people who were once amongst the living. So, you know, they just want to be heard. You know, and your best bet is to just talk to them, see what they're all about. Because I have done that. I used an app on my phone for the electronic voice phenomenon, right? I asked a couple of questions. This was in my mother's old house. I said, who are you? What's your name? How long have you been here? Uh, are you a man, woman, or child? And I played it back after a couple of seconds. I could hear a faint whisper of a man say, that was the most intense moment of my life because it was validation of what of the questions that I asked. Okay, I actually was just playing around. I was just testing it to see if it actually would work, and it did. So that was a pretty amazing experience. I never did find out who that person was. He just said man. That's it. He didn't tell me his name. He just validated the fact that it was a man, and it sounded like a Caucasian. So you know, but like I said, you know, if you had an experience, talk about it. Don't keep it bottled up inside of you, okay? Because there are plenty of people out there that are too afraid to talk about it because they may be looked at as a nut, you know, or ridiculed by their friends and family. You know, the media might try to eat it up saying they claim this, they claim that. See, that's the one thing I don't like about the media. They always say they claim to have seen a UFO. They claim to have seen a ghost. It's no claiming, okay? You don't claim to see this. You said yourself you saw it. They only say claim because you didn't see it. So I guess they figure they have to, you know, for ratings or whatever. I don't know. But trust me, there is no claim you seen this or they claim to see that you saw it. That's the bottom line. You know you saw it. If anybody else didn't see it, okay, fine, whatever, who cares? But you know you saw it. That's the important part. Okay? Like I said before, don't let nobody tell you different. Now, there are people who, like, say, they have like UFO experiences. Some people will do something stupid like call the Air Force saying, "Is there any kind of aircraft flying around that you guys are testing?" You know, they'd be like, "No." You know, they said they saw something. It was a red light or an orange light floating in the sky, moving around. That's the worst thing you can do because if you try to call the government, all they're gonna do is come in and shut down whatever it is you saw, and then they'll sit there and try to threaten you, saying that they'll take you out in the field somewhere and they'll never see your body ever again. You know, if you don't keep quiet. Okay, first of all, you got government people to try to say, okay, they don't want to tell them these things because it may cause a public panic. Guys, newsflash: if we already saw it, how are you gonna sit there and try to cover it up and say that okay, it was swamp gas or it was a test plane or it was like a Japanese lantern or it was a weather balloon? Really? Come on, guys. We have people out here in the civilian world that are just as smart as the people that work for you, work for the government. Okay? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of quantum physicists out there that don't even work for the government. But yet you're gonna say, oh, it was a weather balloon or it was swamp gas. Yeah, whatever. You really think we're that stupid to believe that bullcrap after what we just saw? I have seen a lot of things, and there's no way the government can tell me it was something else because we don't have that kind of technology. Even if we do, they stole it from an alien civilization. Okay, they reverse engineered it just so they could have it for themselves to wipe out the obstacles ahead of them. You know, I'm just saying. You know, give me a break. So all I know is it was a situation that I had seen like it was I was coming back from my karate class and I saw this white orb. It was huge. It was, I mean, as far as the distance of it was way up in the sky. It was probably about as it looked about as big as the moon. It looked just as high as the moon would have been at that point. So I'm looking at it, I was like, okay, it's just the moon. So I shrugged it off on my own, driving home. And I kept looking up and it was right there. It was almost like it was following us, just like how the moon does when you be driving. You know, it looks like it's always following because it's just that big. Okay, so I get we get to the apartment. I get out the car. I look up, and there it was, right above my head, and right above our subdivision. There was these two bright stars behind it on both sides, one on the left, one on the right. Okay, I went inside, changed out of my karate gi, put my clothes back on. I was taking taekwondo at the time. Something was telling me, hurry up and get back outside quick. So I rush into my clothes. I run outside. I look up in the same area where I saw this orb, just floating and just sitting in the sky. It disappeared. Now, keep in mind, it was a clear night that night. I could see every star in the sky. Okay, but whatever that was, it wasn't no moon. I surmised that at the last minute when I went outside, and I was like, okay, that is weird. And then 2 seconds later, I see these lights hovering above my head. Whatever that thing was, it was massive. Okay, but the night sky was cloaking it. So, yeah. All I know is that these lights were blinking in sequence like this here. Blink, 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 blink. Like that. And it turned over my head real slow. And it went that way. I'm not sure if it was the west or the east or whatever. All I know is it went in this direction. And I tried to follow it, but there was a row of clouds in the distance, and it went over the clouds and disappeared. So it was a very crazy experience. You know, like I said, I've been seeing all kinds of things ever since I was a kid. You know, it was even one incident at my apartment in Virginia where I'm sitting down watching TV and I see this golden yellow streak shoot across the room and it vanished. It appeared out of nowhere, it just shot in a swirly, shot off to the left in a swirly, ocean, and it vanished. I was looking right at it. I saw it. I've even taken a picture. Well, my mom took a picture of me on my graduation, and one of my family members was in the photo, but they appeared as like this little white streak, that was in front of me and in the back. So they wanted to be there for my graduation. I was very happy about that, and I thanked them for it. I think. But anyway, guys, gotta tell you, it's late yet early in the morning. It's like it is 7:21, and I gotta get some sleep. I mean, I'm off today, so that's good, but still, it's early in the morning. I have, I am so glad to have shared these experiences that I've had with you. Um, like I said, I want to continue to do this for all of you paranormal nicks out there, the ones that had these experiences but are too scared to talk about it. That's what this is for. Okay, this is for you and for me, but mainly for you guys because I have been there. Okay, there's a lot of things that I've experienced that I never have ever talked about until I started opening up to some friends of mine at work, and then something hit me. You see all these videos about paranormal experiences, UFOs, and ghosts that they have in their apartment or whatever, poltergeists. And I was saying to myself, if they can do it, why can't I? So I did, and you guys love it, and I appreciate that so much. I really do. So, without further ado, I must go. So, aloha, mahalo, and ahuiho, which also means till we meet again. I will see you guys soon. Peace. Hang loose, guys. Keep them coming.